Alright, so today we're going to be making our game boards out of our clay, and you're going to get a slab of clay. And remember, it's just clay that's been rolled out for you to a nice thickness. And what I'm looking for is that we don't squish the clay to make it too thin, because otherwise it's a little bit more breakable. So I recommend, based on what you created for your game pieces, is that you create a game board to kind of fit your theme. So whatever plan or design that you did in your sketchbook, now is the time to use that here. And I know with you guys, I did a Pac-Man theme. So I'm going to look at my clay slab and go, what's the best way to draw a ghost shape? So I might turn my clay this way. And at your table, you're going to notice that you have a few different types of tools. You've got the skewers, which work as like your pencils for clay. And then you've also got your knives to be able to cut out the pieces. You also have a water cup here that has some water so you can smooth out. You would just dip your finger in. And you have a toothbrush inside. And the toothbrush is a really great tool to do your scoring and your slipping. So you would scratch the area on the clay and that you want something to attach to it, and then it will hold it a lot better. So I know I always use the analogy of, trying to hold on to something is not going to work like this. It will slide off. But instead, if you intertwine like this and try to pull apart, then it's going to hold better. And that's what the toothbrush does when you score it. Okay? So the first thing before you go to cut is, just like you draw light to get it right when you're drawing, you want to draw light with this to get the shape that you're looking for. Because if I don't like a shape as I draw it, I can easily just smudge it back, dip my finger in the water, and I can just go back and erase it with my magicness of my finger, which is pretty nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my ghost. I'm going to make it rather wide because it's my tic-tac-toe board. And I'm just going to draw my ghost. And I feel pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do next is grab my knife tool. And I'm going to slowly cut the shape out that I'm looking for. And with my extra clay, I just put it on the side. You do what's easier for you. You can turn and do the different parts like this. It's almost like little mountains that I have coming out here. Alright, notice you could probably hear me scraping a little bit more on the plate, and that's okay. I want to make sure I cut all the way through my clay. And now I've got my tic-tac-toe board shape of my Pac-Man ghost. And I want to add in where my Pac-Man, the tic-tac-toe board lines are going to be. So I'm going to, I don't need it to be really large. I'm going to have two lines that go down like this. And I'm going to have two more lines across. So I might bring this up a little bit more. And lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my initials just a little bit right here. And I'm going to do an H for Mrs. Holland so I know it's mine. Now that I've got that, I'm going to look at, do I have any areas that could be sharp? So little bits of pieces, I'm just going to smooth out. I can dip my finger in the water because it'll dry really sharp like glass. Now, if I wanted to give like cool eyes for my Pac-Man ghost, what I'll do to show you how to attach something is, maybe I want to make a ball. And I rolled it like that. And I can squish it in my hands and test it out and go, is this the right size? Maybe I want to have two, or it's too big. So I might rip it in half, do the same thing, squish it, form it the way I want to. There we go. I might have my ghost eyes look a little bit like that. And remember, you don't want to have anything thicker than your thumb because it needs to dry, and it takes a lot longer for something that big to dry. So perfect. That's the placement that I would like. And what I would do is I would score the bottom of this. I'd score this here, and I'd kind of push it on there nicely. Scratch it with the toothbrush. Same thing here. Stick it on nicely. And now it's really attached well. There is a trick too that you can use, a tool to kind of make sure you attach it nicely where it's smoothed on really well. So if you have really big gaps, I recommend, trying to attach it the best way by attaching it that way. But otherwise, I'm just going to give my ghost a little poke here, a little poke here, and there's my ghost for right now. The rest of it, I'm going to paint it and make it a fun little thing. Maybe I'll add a little Pac-Man here or there. But this is my three-dimensional Pac-Man tic-tac-toe board. I meant to also say, once you're done, you're going to put this on the board that has your name, and then you're going to take your extra clay pieces that you have left over, and you're going to put them in the extra clay bag, and you'll go to your sketchbook and start figuring out colors and things that you would use for, or designs that you'll paint on with the glazes for your board.